All right, welcome back to part two of part two in the growth mindset here. So we're moving on to step 5, the action journaling, and we should have enough time, or maybe we won't. I don't know. So depending on where we are, class time. If we don't finish, no worries. We'll just continue this tomorrow in class. Um, but action journaling. So we're going to pick a specific goal. You're going to brainstorm, and if you're still struggling, I do have some ideas for you. Um, so basically, you want to pick something that maybe you want to work on being more of a leader, or maybe you actually want to learn a specific skill. Like maybe I should pick cartwheels because I still, like I said, I don't know how to do a cartwheel. Maybe I should learn how to do a cartwheel. But whatever you pick, you're going to develop a smart goal for it. So whatever you want to achieve, think about the setbacks you might encounter and ways that you would overcome these failures. So if you're still struggling to come up with an idea, here's some ideas. Number 1, acknowledge and embrace imperfection. So if you have some type of imperfection about you, okay, maybe that is something you'd like to work on. Maybe you have a flaw or some type of weirdness. I don't know. So like the small black mole on Marilyn Monroe's face, well, made her extremely unique and an icon. So she embraced it and used it to her advantage. Maybe you struggle with facing challenges bravely. Okay, so if you find yourself terrified in the face of a challenge, maybe this is something you want to work on. Maybe you want to come up with strategies to stop and reframe the situation and consider every challenge as an opportunity. So you're changing your perspective about things. Okay, so you can go through and read that. Maybe you use a lot of negative words and you put yourself down. So like anytime something happens that doesn't favor in your direction, you tend to put yourself down and you have negative thoughts. And so maybe this is something you'd like to work on, because, your critic, the hardest critic is yourself. So you really need to watch yourself and your words, because if you say that you can't do something, well, then you're not going to do something. So that might be something that you could work on. 4, seek an approval from others. If you are a person that tends to always seek approval from others, that's going to prevent growth mindset. So maybe you want to learn how to trust yourself more instead of always trying to impress other people. All right, another area you could look at is being authentic. Okay, pretending to be someone you are not disrespects who you really are, makes you a fake. So maybe you want to work on some inner work on yourself. 6, cultivate a sense of purpose. Does your life feel like it's purpose driven? And if yes, are you able to define that purpose? 7, redefine genius. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Exploring your strengths and trying to work to improve your weaknesses can help you build a growth mindset. So maybe that one is something you want to work on. You're like, I really struggle with this, and you list it down. I'm really strong on this, and then just how do you dedicate more time to your weaknesses to make them strong? Turning criticism around until you find its gift. So criticism is obviously to make things better, and I know sometimes that it can be pretty hurtful depending on how that person chooses their words. But if you're open up to hearing suggestions, you can actually develop your growth mindset better. Value the process over the end result. This isn't a quick fix. It's more about the journey. Learn from mistakes of others. I don't know how you'd build a goal off of that, but if you can come up with something, yeah, let me know. Not yet is okay. So, I'm not good at math. Sticking that word yet at the end might be a goal for you. I'm not good at science. I'm not good at a cartwheel yet. Take risks in the companies of others. Try not to take yourself too seriously. Be willing to make mistakes in front of others. I don't know how many times a teacher will say, does anyone want to share? And there are crickets in the background. I know some of you are eager to share, and that's great because you're not afraid to make those mistakes. But There are some kids that are absolutely terrified of making that mistake. So maybe this is something you'd like to work on, being more vocal in the classroom and advocating for yourself and sharing your thoughts and ideas. And if you get it wrong, just saying, okay, I was wrong. I really thought this was it. And you made a mistake and you learned from it and you move on. And, I, and we'll talk about the environment in that, because obviously if you make a mistake, I know some of your classmates tend to roast you, right? So talking about what kind of environment do we really need in order to be in that growth mindset state. Being realistic, okay, takes time to do this. I mean, maybe by the end of the year, we don't reach that goal, but at least you have that goal. And half of that is writing it down on paper, okay, and forming a plan. Speed is not important, okay? So the end results are less of a focus. It's really engaging yourself and being purposeful in your effort, and then owning your own attitude. Okay, so I know some of these weren't exactly areas that you can work on, but things that you can focus on as you try to think of an area you can work on. So a SMART goal is SMART. All these letters stand for an acronym. Your goal is specific. You know exactly what you want to accomplish. It's measurable. How will you know when you met your goal? It's attainable. Is it possible to meet the goal with effort by your timeline? It's relevant. Is this goal worth working hard to accomplish, or is it something that should just be on the back burner? And is it timely? What is the deadline that you set to meet that goal, which is tied into, is it attainable? So I actually put one together, and this is kind of serious, and it's actually just very recent for me, so I'll just share it with you. I've been a teacher for, I don't know, almost 10 years. And, I can't really just sit in my classroom and worry about what happens in my classroom, because that's not working for me. And I am starting to take a little bit more leadership positions, and that's kind of a goal that I've been thinking about for a while. So I really want to step out of my comfort zone and try new things as an educator. During COVID, like I said, I've kind of discovered podcasts on my iPhone, and I've been listening to podcasts of awesome educators around the world and trying to utilize some of their ideas in my classroom, or I want to. I also want to be a little bit more active in leadership and to pursue more opportunities, to just jump in and just say, well, why not? Like, let's just do this. So how can I measure this? This was really tough for me. But just recently, I am the VP for our union and was nominated during COVID. But I want to be able to speak up at committees and meetings, and I'm actually looking at getting another master's degree somewhere, possibly in education leadership or administration, which means principal or superintendent, but then expanding my PLN. So, how can I measure this? Okay, so I've already kind of have a pretty high leadership role. But looking at getting my master's is probably how I'm going to be able to measure that. Is it attainable? Yeah, I know I have a lot on my plate, but I also have a pretty good support group to assist me when I'm struggling. Is it relevant? Absolutely. I'm extremely passionate about my job and what I do. I want to be the best. So to advance my career passionately as well as financially, because this is something that really does interest me. And time, well, the fastest I could get that degree would be 18 months to 2 years. But depending on how things go, 2 to 5 years. Okay, so that was an example. And I guess maybe I should have wrote the title up here, but I mean, it's specific, it was measurable. Is it attainable? Is it relevant? And is it timely? But, I don't know. If I picked cartwheels, I know that's not extremely relevant, but it would be a great example. So how do you do a cartwheel? Is it measurable? Heck yeah, when you actually do a cartwheel. Is it attainable? So remember what attainable is. Is it possible to meet this goal with effort by your timeline? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I spent 10 minutes every day trying to do a cartwheel, eventually I'm going to learn how to do a cartwheel. Is it relevant? Not so much, unless I was going to try to do gymnastics or some type of talent show. But you get the point. Okay, elaborate in culture. So going back to this part right here where it says, right here, take risks in the companies of others. Okay, being willing to make mistakes in front of others. This kind of ties into this slide right here, culture. So everyone is on their own path or journey. That's what you want to think of it. Some may choose learning academic skills, like I want to be able to read better or spell better or do better in this class. Some are working towards social skills. I want to be more vocal. I want to be able to make more connections and listen to other kids and, connect with other kids and potentially form new friendships. Others are developing additional ways to challenge themselves. So like in my case, I want to branch out and take more of a leadership role. But in order to learn, we have to create an environment that allows for it. So if someone makes a mistake in class, we don't want to roast them, right? We don't want to put them down so they never speak up again because we embarrassed them. Yes, sometimes what people say is funny, and I think it's good to laugh at that if they're able to laugh with you. So, yeah. Okay, the final thing is on the Jamboard, step 8, a brain sketch. So I'll go back to my Jamboard. I should have showed you your SMART goal plan. So SMART down here. Okay, so finally, brain sketch. So here I have a picture of a brain. And what I want you to do is to cut the brain in half, okay? Where one side is going to demonstrate a growth mindset, you decorate it with either statements or symbols or pictures, and the other half as a fixed mindset, decorated again with statements and symbols. So I'm going to show you some additional tools you can use. Obviously, you guys are familiar with the pen, and the colors are limited, but you can change it. I think you should be able to change it on your iPad to marker, to highlight. Hey, there's the highlighter, to a paintbrush. We have the eraser. Sticky notes. I mean, if you want to put statements as sticky notes off to the side, that would work too. But the cool thing about Google Suite and the tools is that you can look up images on the internet, within the document itself. So if you click on the images, and you might have to find it might be buried underneath something else like a shape. If you click on Google image search, you can type in whatever you want. So growth mindset, maybe I'm just going to type in the word growth and see what pops up, right? Oh, cool. All right, I'm going to select that. And now I have this picture of, well, if my internet was faster, it would already. Anyways, I'm just going to move it over here, and then fixed, man, when I think of fixed, I tend to think of rigid, right? So I don't know why I think bricks, but I do. But yeah, select, and you can paste it in there, and you can write words associated with fixed and growth mindsets. You can, they have shapes. My 7th graders discovered that if you make a heart, it fixes your heart. Someone did a squiggly. They oh, that's a circle. But they made this weird little squiggly, and then Google was trying to identify what the heck they drew. So I saw a UFO spaceship pop up or something crazy like that. So just thought that was kind of cool. But anyways, I got a minute left in this video. I'm sorry that this took 15 minutes. But like I said, if we don't finish, don't worry about it. We have all day Friday. This is the last bit of growth mindset until October. So if you don't finish, just don't worry about it. It's not homework. Bring it to class. We'll get it done. We'll regroup if it was kind of a disaster. Again, I apologize. I don't want to show you my face because my eye is really, really bad. It's swollen. I look like I got punched in the face. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I hope to see you tomorrow.